All right, hey guys, how's it going? Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Welsh, and here we are on episode 3. And today I have a special guest with us.
My name's Allie.
The talented Allie Keaton.
Sorry.
She's ready to dive right in and start answering questions and all of that good stuff. But no, I'm just giving her a hard time. Allie's super, super awesome. She's been with us for a really long time here at Impact. A key person here on the team, somebody who knows what she's doing and we trust immensely. But yeah, I'm excited, Allie. This is episode 3. 3 weeks in a row. We've done it. I feel like we're in a groove now. And however, before we dive right in, this is the last time that we're going to do it in our conference room because I'm really excited about our new space.
Yeah, that'll make it feel even more official.
Yeah, we've been I have been working pretty hard on getting the new studio up and running here in the last couple of months. And honestly, it's just me kind of managing our landlord and getting the space completed. But we just got carpet installed yesterday, and I feel like I have my own apartment upstairs now. But I'm super excited about that because it's going to be a little bit nicer than what we have here, rather than just us thrown into the corner in the conference room. So
yeah, absolutely.
We'll say farewell to the conference room, but excited to say hello to the new space here soon. But anyhow, moving more into the actual podcast. This is Allie Keaton. Allie, tell us a little bit about yourself. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us who you are and some of your responsibilities here at Impact.
So I have been with Impakt for over 4 years now. I actually just last year got my master's in digital marketing.
Awesome.
And I am the senior social media manager here at Impakt. So I'm the head of the social team and am a part of the leadership team.
It's awesome. And Allie, I always love when I describe her, I always love to say she started 2 weeks prior to the pandemic.
Yes.
So everybody in the world knows how that went. We basically said, "Hey, hi, how you doing, Allie? Welcome." She started working, and then we sent her home, and she has not come back since then. I kind of force her to come in.
I come in once a week.
And she comes in on Tuesdays. This week, I'm really excited. I get her here on 2 days a week.
Yep.
But we're really delighted to continue to have her. She is a key person on our team and has been around for quite some time. Having her come into the office really kind of helps cheer things up quite a bit because we're just an office full of dudes.
Pretty much, yep.
Allie's one of the dudes.
I am one of the dudes. I'm the only girl, but yeah, I just go along with it.
And that hasn't been the case. There were years where it was more girls than guys here at one point in time, but that was long before Allie. So yeah, so that's who Allie is. So Allie, why don't you go into, so you've told us who you are, how long you've been here, what your job position is. Why don't you go into your job position? What are some of your responsibilities and roles and things that you take care of for us at Impact?
Okay, so I'm trying to think of what to start with. So we onboard a client once we know what they're looking for as far as their social platforms, or if they're wanting email, SMS, web services. We kind of figure out what the objective is, and then we meet with them, get a game plan. We have a creative team who designs all of our content, and then I write the ad copy and make them a CTL, which is a consent to launch form, so that they know everything that's going to be live before we launch it. I build out all of the campaigns, run optimizations to make everything perform better, handle targeting, things like that. There's a lot. Then we have I have monthly meetings with each of the clients to, go over results and then see what kinds of things, if they have sales or what products they want to push for the month and different things like that.
So there's an awful lot that goes with your job, right?
Yes, but I enjoy that.
Yeah. Basically, Allie manages all of our ad campaigns for our social team. Actually, she's in charge of the social team. but she's mostly responsible for Facebook and Instagram ads.
Yes, correct? Yes. That's what I pretty much cover. We have another team member who handles the Google side of things, and we work in tandem in a sense. But yeah, that's my primary role.
That's her specialty.
Yes.
I think it's really interesting how we've evolved over the years, because at one point in time we've got a small social team. Now we're very small and flexible, but at one point in time we had about double the amount of people, and it was just a very different world pre-COVID. But I mean, now your specialty is focusing on the Facebook, Instagram stuff, and then we have Kaiser, who you guys will meet on another episode. He specializes in the Google PPC stuff as well as email. Now you do some email stuff as well.
I was going to say that too. Yeah, I do email for a couple, on a weekly basis too.
Mm-hmm. So I think, and that's where we kind of divide it on the social team. But I think what's really interesting is that they're both Chris Kaiser and Allie are extremely talented in all of that stuff. That's just how they divide the workload. But tell me a little bit about how, like, there's an overlap, right, with the email marketing. Now, if Kaiser's on vacation, you can dive in for some of his stuff, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But like, they worked very closely together as a team. Can you describe some of that? Like, give us an example of some of the things that you guys do.
Yeah, so we know how to use the different platforms for email marketing, for example. So since that is a more, like with Facebook and Google, you're making optimizations as you see needed, or if you need to launch something by a specific date for a sale, you have that on your calendar. But email, like eBlast, you have to do on a weekly basis, so we can cover each other if needed. We work together to collaborate on ideas, and I could even be like, hey, do you have any thoughts on ads for this client for Facebook? It's kind of nice because we can work together on things.
I've noticed that over the years, and currently it's Chris Kaiser. We've had other team members, like you said earlier. We said earlier, Allie's been here a long time. She's actually worked with quite a few people. But what I really love about our team now, not only I like having it smaller, but I also like the fact that you guys work so well together. Yeah. Because I've seen some things in the past where, and I know how it is, guys. I've been working in the creative industry for 3 decades. So although I don't do the things that they do on a daily basis, because that's why we hired them, I understand the idea of like creative roadblock. There are times where you're just like, okay, I've got to do this and I've got to problem solve. I'm looking at a product in our kitchen right in front of us where we had some challenges with it, and we're not going to name the product, but we'll say occasionally there's some challenges that we have to solve and things of that nature, and you just kind of run out of ideas. I mean, it's pretty important to be able to bounce ideas off of one another, right?
Yeah, we do that a lot, and we actually also, for like, okay, we're running into a creative roadblock, or we want to try a different angle. We'll hold internal brainstorm meetings or brandstorm meetings, right, as we call them, right. But where the team gets together and we all will have a timer set and we write down as many ideas as we can, and then we go through all of them and choose our favorites, and then in a sense we bring those to the client.
Very interesting. So I actually, when you mentioned the brandstorming, I immediately went back to the old office and our old conference room, and in the old conference room it was very similar, but the entire wall was a whiteboard. And pre-COVID, which you didn't experience much of this, because actually Allie came in as not a social media manager. She came in on the sales side of things.
Yes, I've definitely evolved with Impakt.
at quite possibly the worst time in the universe to come in for sales.
I would say so.
But we obviously saw something with her, and she knew the product at that point in time, and she already had some creative experience, moved her into her current position, and she's just grown from there. But I remember the days where we would have our brand storms in that conference room. And this is one of the things, guys, that I was so upset about when COVID hit is that when people went home, and I knew we now work on a hybrid model. So Chris Kaiser, the other person we're talking about here, he's actually in Long Beach, California. So, and although Allie is here in the office now, she technically works remote at her house the majority of the time. I was upset when like the Brandstorms went out of office to now all of a sudden like trying to do it remotely. Can you speak to like how you guys have perfected that process and like how, is it working well for you now?
Yeah, I think now that we've had a couple of years with this style of work, we've, come together to figure out what works best when people are all over. But we all just, I just think we have such a good team that everyone works together and we all listen to each other's ideas and we just bounce them off of each other really well. So the style, like I kind of mentioned earlier, where we just have our own time to think of things and then we go through together, I think that's been like the good way for us.
I think that you guys, I'm really pretty proud of what you guys have created and excited to watch you guys evolve. Because to be quite honest, like I am not involved in that process at all. I understand everything about the business and what we do, but my responsibility with my partner Luke is to grow the business and work on the business, not in the business.
Yeah.
So I know enough about it to speak about it, but they, meaning the entire team, has really stepped up and done a really good job at being able to kind of be flexible and solve that problem of working remote.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's also been good because since Mike and I are both on the leadership team, he's the lead web developer. We work really well together. So I think that's helped like over the time when we've transitioned employees and this and that, because we kind of have like, a set pattern of how we do things and get people in the swing of things. And yeah.
I was thinking about when you said set pattern of how we work. Let's talk a little bit about our process. And we don't have to go into deep detail. Like I just kind of am giving an overview and I want to go eventually into some actual results we can go over. But let's talk about the process. We have a set process that we've developed that's very unique, right?
Yes.
And so I guess what I'm getting at is that how well does it work for us when we're kind of like forced to do something different than what we normally do to get the results? Because at the end of the day, businesses come to us to hire us to get results for them. Basically, we're an agency that drives traffic to websites to convert prospects into customers and scale sales. That's what we do. And I don't want to say a lot of times. Sometimes we get people that want us to do something differently their way. Does that usually work for us? For
like if a client, you mean? No. I mean, well, no, we always take the client's feedback and, their perspective on things obviously into consideration. But there have been a few times where, the team, we've had to push back and say, you're trusting us with, your business and to get results. So that's what we need you to do is put your trust in us. And we are very, like I've said, we're very collaborative, but we're also very good at dealing with things as they happen and, kind of working off the cuff when we need to.
Yeah, I think that it's been interesting to watch this company evolve over the years. Like there were times where it was very difficult for the team to just say, okay, well, we'll just kind of do what you want.
Yes.
And that never really works out well. And I'm not trying to sound cocky or like, hey, we know what's best, but
We do. Just kidding. I'm just
but we do. No, but
our results prove it.
Yeah, they really do, which we're going to go over some amazing numbers here shortly. But I think that we know what works best for us. Not saying that listen, there's more than, as my grandfather would say, there's more than one way to skin a cat, or there's different roads that you can go to get to the final destination.
Yeah.
But as far as like the dynamics and the specialty and expertise that we have here at Impakt, we know it works.
Yeah,
so
and they hire us for a reason.
They hire us for a reason, so we just ask that you respect our professional input and advice so that we can get you the incredible results you're looking for.
100%.
Before we go into a few numbers and stuff, so let's just talk about on the Facebook side. Like when you hear us talk a lot about ROAS, so return on ad spend, for those of you that don't understand what that is. Let's talk a little bit about that. Like when somebody new comes to us, they're obviously, every time they spend $1, we should make a multiple of that dollar. What is generally considered like a good starting point? Not necessarily that's where we want to always be, because we always want to grow that.
Yeah.
What's a good starting point for a brand new client that comes to us?
So typically when we onboard a client, we tell them like, we're going to continue to scale your business once we have time to see what content's going to perform the best for your specific brand, see what optimizations, targeting, things like that. But we like to start off with, I'd say, at least a 3 ROAS, because we don't want to just get average results. So we like to start out, at a solid spot.
So every time they spend $1, we want to at least get back 3. That was considered like the industry, like minimal standard at all. Now, obviously, everybody wants to be way higher than that.
Yes.
And we get some people that come to us, even before they become clients, are like, well, we're already getting like a 10x ROAS. Mm-hmm. What, if you can't do that, then, we can't make sense of this.
Speaking of, we actually just onboarded a brand new client and got them launched within 1 day because they were super cooperative, gave us what we needed, and we got them within 7 days up to a 34 ROAS.
34?
Yes, which they were running a limited edition product, but still, a 3 ROAS compared to a 34, it's insane.
That's over 10 times the minimal standard. So every time we spent $1, we got them 34 back. So now I kind of went over this a little bit with Mike too. So that doesn't happen with everybody.
No.
And again, I'm looking at the product in our kitchen that we won't mention. It's still stuck in the kitchen.
Yep.
But Doesn't a business have to be at a certain level for us to be able to have such success like that? Like you can't come in with a brand new product to us.
And that's the thing too that, we sometimes do have to remind clients, because they might come into a brand new meeting with us saying, oh, I want to be at this ROAS. But we also have to remind them, okay, well, we're still starting you from scratch. So we're building your brand and its awareness. Like we're telling people who you even are. So it does depend on, how well known you're within your niche and stuff like that, for sure.
So ideally, just to kind of be clear, and I point this out a lot in some of the other videos and stuff, but like ideally, so Impakt is an agency that helps to scale. So ideally, we'd love, and Mike pointed out some numbers last week, hopefully I'm getting them correct. I believe he said that typically speaking, for us to have great success on the CRO side and then build from there, we ideally like to have a client who has a product that's proven in the market, that's actually converting and there's a need for, and they're doing about $30,000 a month on their online store. That's a good starting point.
Very, yes.
And actually the more that you're doing, the customer is already doing, the more success that we can have, because we're going to go over some numbers here for somebody, we're not going to name the names, but like somebody who is a very well-known brand in the industry, that we are able to kill it on year after year, actually. So yeah, I think it's important to know that we just can't come right out of the gate and get you a 30x ROAS.
Yeah, it's been done, but it's obviously a very unique case.
And but on average, what would you say, like on average, like a general average good ROAS is for some of our clients? Like that, if 30 is great and 3 is the
client that
minimum,
we've had for a little while.
Yeah.
Then I would say anywhere from a 6 to a 10.
Okay.
That's because, but we have clients that obviously exceed that by a decent amount, but that's the average that we try to at least be at.
Well, that's still good, right? Like
yeah.
I all day long, if I could give you $1,000 and you give me back $6,000,
exactly.
I'm all over it. So that's awesome. Well, cool. So let's dive into some results, because I know everybody likes to hear about, well, what can you do for me? Because that's exactly what we do here. We're here to help. So we've got a couple of different things. I'll let you kind of chime in on what the campaigns are without stating who they are.
Yeah, okay.
So we work in different areas, and two of the biggest areas that we work in is event related, I don't know, campaigns, and the other would be e-commerce with manufacturers. But let's go over an event of a recent event that we have here today to discuss.
So we do a couple of events that have ticket sales online, and for this specific one, they spend $1,000 per area that we are targeting per event, and for the most recent one.
So $1,000 in ad spend. So
yes.
So $1,000 in ad spend means that's the money that's going to Facebook.
Yes, I should have clarified. Yeah.
No, that's okay. I'm just making sure that.
Yeah, $1,000 strictly for Facebook ad spend. That's the budget that they give me for each event. And then they made $24,590.15 in sales for tickets for that event.
So they spent $1,000
Yes.
and they made $24,500. So that's so that's pretty good, right? That's way above the 10x range that we were just talking about.
Yes.
And this is for an event that happened on like one weekend.
Yeah, it was a span of 2 days, I believe. And we typically start theirs, between 2 weeks or less time, because as I've worked with this specific...
I was going to point this out.
Okay.
Yeah, good job.
As I've worked with this specific client, I pay attention to the data, and actually launching it a little bit later and closer to the event is when the ticket sales start really coming in. So I want to maximize their ad spend so that they really get the most bang for their buck.
So I want to kind of highlight this specific point because it's good to know that when clients come to us, they're getting our expertise, right? I mean, Allie has a master's degree. I think at one time I added it up the years of experience that we have here.
It's a lot.
I have 30 years myself.
We're stacked.
But if you add up the experience for everybody, I mean, Mike's got 10 years here, so
Yeah.
like Luke's got over 10. You have a lot of experience and a lot of graduate degrees over the years helping you with this stuff. But the reason I say that is because it took us a long time. Like this specific client we've had for years, and they do a bunch of events every single year, and we promote every single one of them. But we've learned over time that, 7 years ago, we would start those campaigns a month out, and they just we learned that you weren't getting any sales 4 weeks out.
Yep.
Which is exactly why Wyatt. That's my daughter's boyfriend, Allie.
We've said my name 3 times already.
Oh my God.
Least.
This is the first time I've ever done that one before, but we'll just kind of leave that right in there.
It's okay.
This is exactly why Allie is pointing out that it's so important that we just do it like really close to the event, because really, for whatever reason, in this specific market, for this specific event, people are buying at the last minute.
Yes. I don't know the exact science behind it, but it is that way for pretty much every race. And I don't know if people are just like getting more excited as the weekend gets closer, but yeah.
Awesome. I can't believe I just called you my daughter's boyfriend.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was really weird.
And I've been called worse.
And it's now in the episode. It's awesome.
And I'm one of the boys anyway.
It just shows you that we're being real here. There's no like editing or anything. All right, cool. So events. That's an excellent example. A 25 ROAS, so
yeah.
$25,000. That's pretty good just for that specific event. Let's talk about e-commerce a little bit, and let's talk about. So the next example that we're going to give you guys is a manufacturer that's been around for some time. So, like I was saying earlier, generally speaking, we like the people to be doing at least $30,000 a month in recurring revenue. Or in revenue to be able to have success. These folks have been around for much longer. I want us to talk about year-over-year growth. She's getting really excited about this one.
I am. This one makes me
She's
pumped.
really proud of this one.
I am. That's exactly what I was going to say.
We're going to talk about year-over-year growth over the course of 3 years for this specific client, starting just rolling back to 2022.
So this client, as he stated, is really big within the industry. So I think that's also why I'm so happy and proud to have made this impact. But
No pun intended.
I was just about to say Impact with a K because we're cool. But back in 2022, their spend was over 97. Or no, sorry. Their spend was 2,998. Their return was 9,786. So that's a ROAS of 3.26. And as we mentioned, that's on the lower end. So we could do a lot better in my eyes.
So a 3x. So that's not okay. And guys, I just want to clarify too. We're just talking about Facebook ads here.
Yes,
so we do several other things. This is the return that she's talking about over the course of these 3 years are just for Facebook ads. We do a bunch of other stuff for this client too. So we help them make a lot more money.
Yes, they are also using Google and email. So yeah, they have a lot of faith in us, which is awesome.
So, and I don't remember what year they started, but it wasn't, if it did go beyond 2022, it wasn't too much further back. So a 3x ROAS on a Facebook campaign. And by the way, that's like, was that for the year?
This is for the last, I think, all of these numbers are from previous years for the month of May.
Okay. So keep that in mind, guys. This is a 1 month return for a client from 2 years ago. Okay, so they got a 3x. All right, move on.
Yeah. So for 2023, their spend was 5,716 and their return was 22,174. So that's a ROAS of 3.88. So a little bit of improvement, but not a ton. And then, once I took over.
Well, she's really highlighting herself now.
I'm just kidding. I have to add my flair to it. But in 2024, I just took over this account within the last year, actually. So within 2024, their spend was 8,274 and their return was 47,215. So that's almost double. And then it did have a little bit of a higher spend, but that's almost double of a return. Actually, it is. And the ROAS is 5.7.
Okay. So we 5.7 when you took over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did you hear that? We haven't said it enough.
And you don't have to go into super details, but is there anything what's the difference? So we've gone from 3.2, and then 2 years later in the same month we've gone to a 5.7. Is there anything different that we did to get that improvement, or we've just been working with this client for long enough we know?
We have a really good rapport and flow with this client. I will say all of the meetings are really effective. They're always really happy with the results we are giving them. We just met with them and I gave them these exact numbers I think 2 days ago. But what I think made a big difference is, obviously I'm running a lot of optimizations for them. And then, I've seen, okay, well, this content is really working well. So I, tell them I want more of this. Can you give me more of this to work with? And that's what we push a lot because we've seen it work.
So it's always about testing, right?
Yes.
Everything, even with the ads, just like Mike was talking about in the CRO process, A/B testing and trying to see what optimizes and what works best. And, maybe the clients have different products for different seasons and improvements every year, just trying to always optimize and figure out what's going to speak to the audience the most and convert the best.
Definitely. And honestly, if in my next episode we could break down kind of what a campaign structure kind of is, just a brief overview maybe, and then
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, and then I can kind of give a few tips on content, stuff like that maybe.
Wow, so that's pretty awesome. So again, I mean that it's really cool to see these numbers in front of us, to see how we are always striving. We're not happy with staying the same. We always want to continually improve things because, we're successful if we're successful for you. And ideally, we always want to see those numbers growing. And That hasn't always been the case. There have been times, I mean, global pandemics throw monkey wrenches into things and it makes it difficult.
Yeah, but as a successful business, you definitely want to see big improvements every single year. That's how you know you're doing the right thing, that your marketing team knows what they're doing. They're tracking different high and low periods when you should be running sales, because they can look at, okay, this month was low, or last year we need to do something extra to push here. There's just a lot of things that go into it, and like even like different trends, like, you know, if you're a client who likes to post more current things, incorporating a lot of trends and stuff is super effective.
I think that's one of the awesome things, and I love to continue to see. And I won't mention names again, but I love it when we're able to work with a client for year over year, you know, month after month, year over year, continuously over a long period of time. Because the more that we know about the client and their product and their industry, the more that we can turn around and give them better results. And I think that's one of the cool things to watch to grow.
Absolutely, yeah. And the thing about what we do too is, like, I'm very creative minded. That to me comes more naturally. So with this position, I had to grow with analyzing data and numbers and that kind of thing. But it's really cool because, you know, once you get more practice, you understand a lot more about metrics and what your client needs and things like that. So it's been really cool to, you know, learn with the job. But also, you know, I joke that I'm really like cocky, but I've definitely had clients where it's like, okay, I'm determined. What do I need to do to make this work, you know, this client to get even better results? It's not always super easy. It definitely can be challenging.
For sure. I mean, those are some pretty awesome numbers. Again, that's just on the Facebook side. So when Kaiser comes in, we'll talk about some of the Google stuff too. And I think, you know, and sometimes maybe Facebook does better than Google and Google does better than Facebook, but at the end of the day, it's the full package, right? Like, we're working. I think that's one of the cool things about our agency is that we don't just do social ads. We don't just do PPC. We don't just do web design and optimization, but we do those three things and they work well together. So we can synchronize the campaigns that we're doing for PPC and email marketing with the Facebook, so we have that omnipresence for our clients.
Yeah, and another thing I just thought of, like, that's really cool about our brand store meetings is we are all very different in the way we think, which is awesome, because, you know, that's why with Kaiser and me, I might see something differently than he will, you know, because like I mentioned, I'm a pretty creative person and visual, so that's like where I gravitate towards. But it's nice, like when you bring in Mike, the head of web, he's always thinking about, okay, how can we convert the website? So in those meetings, we're not just talking about, you know, creatives and ad copy. They're also throwing out ideas for how we can get more purchases and, you know, elevate their website.
It's awesome. It's really cool to see how this team has grown over the years. I mean, since the beginning, I've always said, we've got the best team that we've ever had, but I'm looking at Allie's getting really cocky right now.
Her
head's really getting big here recently.
I just love our team. Yeah. I do. I don't just say that, but I think, you know, I've obviously seen different people and this and that, but I'm just really proud of how we all work together and the team we have. Yeah,
I think, and listen, I'm not disregarding, we've had a lot of really awesome people work for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come and go over the years. I
absolutely.
mean, and it's been sad to see some go. We'll stop right there. But this team is truly the best one that we've ever had, and they work so well together. Honestly, I don't even have to really get involved in that side of the business at all, because I know they can take care of things. It's very rare do I have to come in and give like an executive like decision. And because it's just the way that we've built this company, and we've got the perfect personalities.
It's rewarding for us to be able to do that too.
For sure. Well, awesome, Allie. Do you have anything else that you would like to go over on the social media targeted ad campaign side of things for this episode, number 3?
I mean, I have ideas for the future to keep people on their toes.
I know we don't want to blow it all in this episode.
But I think this was a good start. We can dive more into campaigns and how they actually
Yeah,
are
for sure.
structured
Yeah,
and stuff.
I think today my goal was to just really have a conversation with you so people could get to see you and know your personality, for those that aren't working with us yet, because it is our goal and mission to get a bunch more people into the ecosphere here so we can continue to help businesses grow. But I think that I think we were successful in talking about the basics of what we've done, what we do here at Impakt as far as the ad campaigns go, and some awesome numbers.
Yeah.
If you want to see more numbers, we're publishing them weekly. So just go to thinkimpact.com for that. What else am I missing?
We'd love to have you because we enjoy, I just think another thing, again, not being too confident, but I think our team's just fun to work with too. And like in our monthly meetings with our clients, it's like fun working with them collaboratively, bouncing ideas. It's really just fun, to work with people who are passionate about this industry.
For sure. And it's always good when we've got a good synergy, so to speak, with the clients that we're working with. And
yeah.
It just makes it more fun to get great results and stuff like that. So where can the folks that are watching us find out more information about some of the things that we do, and how can they get in touch with us to actually start a conversation? She's not ready on her computer.
I'm looking up the Okay, so our Instagram, which we are getting back into posting consistently, is Impakt with a K _results. Feel free to shoot us a message there, follow us, connect with us. And I know we have Nate, who's on LinkedIn, who's always looking to meet people who are interested in learning more about what we do as well.
Yeah. She's pointing out something that I didn't even think of, and I just want to clarify. So because we are so heavily focused in targeted ad campaigns, we have not actually worked in organic for years. And our focus has been on our clients, and we've actually just been at fault at not taking care of ourselves. That has since changed on a lot of fronts, but I'm glad that she brought up the Instagram thing, because we are.
I thought that's what you meant initially.
No,
sorry.
No, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. I didn't think of that part. I think that it's good for people to know, because your average person would be like, well, they say they do social media, but they haven't posted in a year or whatever.
Yeah.
That stuff is coming back up to speed here, so I'm excited about that. But also, in addition to our social channels, you can also go to thinkimpact.com. That's thinkimpact.com. We spell it wrong. I know how to spell, but the domain name was available.
The K is cool.
11 years ago, and it's a hip thing to do. So
Yep.
Yeah, go to thinkimpact.com. You'll see it right here on the screen. Josh will put it in. And if we'd love to have a conversation with anybody who's interested in just learning more about the things that we do, and how we possibly could help you out your business as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that's going to conclude episode number 3. Excited. Thank you so much for meeting with me today, Allie.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure for you to come into the office a second at 2 days. 2 days.
Don't
in
get
1
used
week.
to it. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I'm not going to take
kidding.
advantage of it.
I'm just kidding. No, I will be back, and I'm excited to do another episode.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do some more, and we'll dive deeper into some other stuff, fun stuff too. So.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the next episode. See ya.